Alright. Index Faust and Udjat Outis finally have their kits revealed, and there's a lot of stuff on them. Like, they probably have at least like 10 keywords each, which like is a lot to look at. Yeah, it quite a lot to read. I think we got a little bit too used to, well, at least I got too used to kits being 1 page long, because they had 1 page of a kit, and then there was another 1 page for a kit, and now we're back to 4. So that's gonna be fun. All right, so one thing that definitely stands out is a 3-coin counter, but we'll get to that. Also, I was not expecting both these IDs to be syncing, but all right. Okay, so start with Faust. And there's just a lot of stuff here. If the skill is marked with Mark of the Prescript, gain Clash Power and deal more damage. Gain coin power for every X poise on self while sinking on target. So gain coin power for every X is probably one of the best conditionals to have, because that means you gain at least 2 coin power total. So this is probably gonna roll like 3 and 4 and then go up to 15. But then with more Clash power, it might go to like 16, which could be good. Although I don't know if it will actually roll 15 otherwise then, but I mean, it'll probably be, I mean, it could potentially clash like at 16. For a skill 1 is good. But, okay, so on use gain poise count, on hit gain poise, on hit inflict sinking, on crit inflict sinking. So it is a poise sinking unit, which, I mean, I don't know if there's been another poise sinking unit. Not that I can think of. But this is Faust's first sinking 3-star or whatever. Or at least her first ID for sinking that isn't the Wuthering Heights one. And that, I don't know if that's a good thing, because Echoes of the Manor, I never really used sinking a lot, but I know that it was very good for sinking. And same with Outis as well, although Outis now has other things as well, but we'll get to that soon. But yeah, so I don't know if this Faust would actually go on a sinking team. Poise, maybe, but it does, I mean, her passive is kind of sinking, leaning towards sinking. And if she is poised, then she, Faust, kind of gets even more outdated, which is not my favorite thing to happen, since it's an ID that I actually kind of like. But yeah. Alright, skill 2. If the skill is marked with Mark of Prescript, gain final power, gain coin power for every X, poise on self while sinking on target, on use gain poise and poise count, on hit gain poise, on hit inflict sinking, on hit inflict sinking, on crit inflict sinking count. So this ID kind of needs poise to work well sinking wise. Well, I mean, not really. It just needs its poise to do better at sinking. Although, since we don't have the numbers, we don't know how good it is with or without it. But we know that on crit, so with more poise, it does just do better, however good it is at the start or not. But yeah, so it looks pretty self-fueling for poise. Like, it looks like it can take care of itself for the most part, unless it has the like really horrible poise generation, but so far it's solid. Okay, Skill 3, if the skill is marked with Mark of the Prescript, gain final power and deal more damage on critical hit. Once again, critical hit. Gain coin power for every X. Poise on self while sinking on target. Same conditional for every skill. Combat start at X+. Grace of the Prescript. Convert all coins of the skill to unbreakable coins and deal more damage. So the deal more damage part is good. Because, okay, so this is probably going to be like 3 and 4. Gaining 2 coin power from that, maybe 1 clash power. This was probably going to be 4 and 4. Probably gaining up to 2 coin power. And then the 1 final power. This is probably going to be like 4 and 5. I mean, 5 and 4. 5 base power, 4 coin power. Probably, I mean, like everything else is gains up to 2 coin power, so they could potentially go above that. But I feel like if they're gaining damage on this skill, then it's probably just going to stay at the gaining up to 2 coin power. And it's already dealing more damage with critical hit as well. So they'll probably just do 5 and 4 and then up to 2 coin power gained. Combat start at X+ Grace of the Prescript. Oh yeah, I already did that. On use, gain poise count. Gain poise equal to Grace of the Prescript divided by X. On hit, gain poise. On hit, inflict sinking. Deal more damage for every X Grace of the Prescript. At Y, Grace of the Prescript. Deal even more damage instead. On hit, inflict sinking. On crit, inflict sinking count. So I think all the instances of sinking count are on crit. Yeah, 2 of them. So it could be a lot, it could be a little, but if it's requiring on crit, I would assume that it's like a good amount. Okay, and then the first 3 coin counter, and it's not a clashable counter, I don't think, which it would be, I mean, it's kind of weird. Because I would think a strong counter would be clashable, but then again, maybe it's like a trade-off of like, you have to get hit in order to use a strong counter. But yeah, not really sure how that's gonna go. It doesn't gain any coin power either, but it does gain final power and deal more damage for every X Grace of Prescript. And then something else is combat start, gain shield equal to X% of max HP. So she does gain a shield for herself when using this, which is good, right? Because then instead of like taking damage every time you use this, if your shield is high enough, then you just won't take damage. But then reduce shield gain for every X karmic consequence. At Y plus karmic consequence does not gain shield. On use, gain poise. On hit, inflict sinking. On hit, inflict sinking. So you want to not get karmic consequence. Although it doesn't really matter, but we will get to what that is in like 2 seconds. Well, maybe more like a minute and a half, depending on how fast I read this. Okay. Prescript. Okay, also, that's a lot of passives as well. Like, like there's a lot here. Turn start. Gain prescript, paper slip 1 through 4. Based on Grace of the Prescript on self. So, okay, we'll finish this part first. Inflict the Prescript's target to a random enemy in focused encounters apart. Apply Mark of the Prescript to base attack skills on this unit's dashboard at X plus Grace of the Prescript. The effect above prioritizes skill 3. All the effects above and Prescript execution checks do not trigger when this unit is staggered, immobilized, in panic, or in good corrosion. So, basically, what I think this means is it just picks a random enemy or part, and you have to attack that part with whatever skill is selected by the prescript or whatever. So it kind of like all of your attacks with Faust are kind of predetermined. But then if you go against that, and if you fail to achieve those prescripts, I think that's what gives you the karmic consequence. Well, the prescripts. Turn end. If prescript was executed this turn, heal SP and gain Grace of the Prescript. When executing prescript, if the main target has the prescript's target, heal even more SP and gain even more grace of the prescript instead. Turn end. If prescript was not executed this turn, gain karmic consequences. At X, grace of prescript does not gain karmic consequence. If this unit attempted to execute prescript at combat start but could not target the enemy during the turn, does not gain karmic consequence. So, I think that basically means that if Faust is going to kill an enemy, but someone else kills that enemy first, then it doesn't trigger karmic consequence, which is good. That is like a good thing. So as long as you're still following the like whatever slot it wants you to use against whichever enemy it wants you to attack, then like nothing will like it won't hurt you for no reason, like if you're doing what you're supposed to be doing with Faust. Although, I mean, karmic consequence, it doesn't really have that much of an effect. Like, I think it's just like some fragile, maybe defense level down, and I think that's it. And then, I mean, you don't get to use this shield when you do the counter, but it's not like a huge loss because you just simply have other skills to use as well. But anyway, proselyte's blade, I don't know how to pronounce it. Deal more damage when skills marked with mark of the prescript for every... Deal more damage with skills marked with mark of the prescript for every X grace of the prescript on self. Okay, so deal more damage as a passive is generally pretty good. At Y, grace of the prescript, deal more damage with base skills instead. So it's just a passive that just gives you more damage, which is good. On hit with a base skill against enemies with the prescript's target, gain poise and inflict sinking. And I think that might be on every hit. So like on every single coin, I think that might be an additional poise gain and sinking infliction. Increase the number of times this effect can be triggered per turn for every X grace of the prescript. At X grace of the prescript, base skills inflict more sinking potency, and this unit gains more poise potency. So I don't think that means gain 2 poise and inflict 2 sinking on every base hit. I think that third line there means that on the gain poise, you're gaining 1 additional poise, and on the inflict sinking, you're inflicting 1 additional sinking. I don't think that applies to the first line, or no, the second segment of that passive of gaining poise and inflicting sinking on every hit. So I think that's probably gonna be how it's gonna turn out. Okay, and then the support passive effects apply to the identity with the earliest deployment order, prioritizes the index identities. So there's probably going to be multiple index identities this season. Like there's probably, I mean, it could just be future proofing, but I would think there would be at least one other. Combat start, if this unit's leftmost skill on the dashboard and other allies target the same enemy slot. Said skills deal plus X% damage for every ally targeting the same slot, excluding this unit applies when this unit and allies both use base attack skills to main target enemy slot. Okay, so I mean, yeah, I think it's like when other people are attacking a slot, and if you attack that same slot, cool. All right, so I mean, as for the index identity in general, I was expecting there to be one. I was like 90% sure there would be one this season, but I was expecting it to like arrive around like the 3rd part of the canto. So that's kind of interesting as well. All right. Next up for the other parts of Faust's kit, that's the wrong thing that I'm moving. Okay, hold on. Here we go. Prescript. Receive prescript paper slip under specific conditions. Paper slip 1. Use a skill marked with mark of the prescript or hit a target with a marked skill. turn starts at X to Y grace of the prescript. Gain this effect. Maximum stackable grace of the prescript with this prescript is limited to Z. And that's the exact same thing it says for paper slip 2. Oh, actually, no. Paper slip 1 says use a skill marked with, and then prescript 2 says hit a target with a skill marked with. So that's the only difference there. So I guess that's kind of like if paper slip 1 tells you to use a skill 1, then you don't have to win the clash with a skill 1. But if paper slip 2 tells you to use a skill, then you have to like get a hit in with it. Alright. Paper slip 3. Hit a target with Ego Awakening skill or skill 3 marked with marked prescript. So that's kind of interesting because I guess that means you cannot, like if you have, say you have 2 slots, right? You can not use a skill 3 marked with it and just use an Ego instead, maybe, which could be interesting. Not sure how that's gonna work out, but well, we'll see. Turn start, okay, that's the same as the other ones. Prescript, paper slip 4. Eliminate all enemies before the next prescript arrives. Turn start at X and grace of the prescript gain this effect. Okay. Mark of the prescript. Apply mark of the prescript to a base attack skill on this unit's dashboard. The prescript's target. Take more damage from the index units, which makes me think there will be more index IDs this season. This effect is applied to a single target every turn, regardless of the number of index units deployed. That as well makes me think that. I mean, it's kind of interesting, right? Because the sync IDs, the like Sinclair, Dawn, and Mersal, they all have their own declared duel passive or debuff, and they all have like their own individual debuffs for their faction. But with the index, it looks like they don't have that, and they kind of all have to attack the same thing. So not sure how well that's gonna work out in encounters that aren't like you're fighting one thing. But if you are just fighting one thing, like probably in like boss fights, they're probably gonna be a little bit better, I would imagine. Grace of the prescript, gain offense level for every X stacks. So you're just gaining offense level for free, as well as damage for free, because it gives you damage as well. So that's cool. And then Karmic Consequences, turn start, gain defense level down for every X stacks, gain fragile for every Y stacks. So it's like not good to have, but it also doesn't really matter that much, because it's not like it's like offense level down or clash power down. Because basically, as long as you're still winning your clashes, this really just doesn't matter at all. Like, if you're not getting hit, then fragile and defense level down just doesn't matter to you. So, yeah. Alright, so that's it for Faust. Overall, the idea looks very solid, I would say. Design-wise as well, looks very cool. Alright, let's move on to... How do you even pronounce this? Udjat, Outis, LCA, Udjat, Vanguard, Team 3 leader. Okay, that's quite a name. I mean, there's probably longer names out there. Alright, so this ID has so many statuses. Or not statuses, keywords. There's just so many keywords. Also, something else that's kind of interesting is it's sinking and tremor. And it also has pride, sloth, gloom, who is a very, very similar ID in having pride, sloth, gloom, and sinking tremor, is more Ishmael. And Molar Ishmael is on the sinking team already. So I have a feeling this ID is going to be more sinking than Tremor. Even though it does have Tremor count. I mean, its other effects are also very sinking heavy. And it doesn't really do much for Tremor. Like, it has Tremor. Don't get me wrong. Right? It has Tremor. But it has more for sinking, I would say. Alright. So, with that said, on use, gain aggro. Okay, also every skill of this ID, every single skill gains aggro and gains protection next turn. Every single one. Except maybe the defense, but that doesn't count. Every other skill gains aggro and gains protection next turn. So this is a tank, right? Like, this is a tank. It's that simple. And yeah, alright. On use, gain aggro to this skill slot next turn. On use, gain coin power for every X sinking plus tremor on target. If this unit has the Udjat Vanguard, gain clash power. So at first, I saw that every skill had, if this unit has this, then gain this. So then I was thinking, okay, so it's like a Heisho ID, but not a Heisho ID. And it doesn't gain its status that makes it stronger on using a defense skill. So it's a little bit less like a Heisho ID. But I think it still has a lot of potential to be very strong. Alright, we'll go on. Gain clash power. Clash win, inflict, shoot, fracture. I don't know what that. Inflict, shoot, fracture. Sure. And it does that on skill 1 and skill 2 on clash win. On hit, inflict sinking count. On hit, inflict tremor count. On hit, gain protection next turn. So this is probably going to be 3 and 4, gaining up to 2 coin power. So probably going to roll 15, and then it might gain 1 clash power from that. So then that could go up to 16, which is a strong skill 1. Skill 2. On use, gain aggro skill slot next turn, gain coin power for every X sinking plus tremor on target. On use, if this unit has the Udjat Vanguard, gain clash power and deal more damage. Clash win, inflict shoot fracture. On hit, inflict sinking count. On hit, inflict tremor count. On hit, inflict sinking. On hit, inflict tremor. On hit, gain protection next turn. So the one thing I don't exactly like here is that sinking count is first. And I guess it depends, right? Because if you have a sinking stack running already, then sinking count on the start is better, because then it kind of makes up for the rest of the coins. But if it's on the last coin and you don't have a sinking stack going, then it'll leave more count for the next time you start sinking. So I guess this ID kind of expects you to have a sinking team with this unit. And I mean, a lot of the other things we'll get to just support sinking a lot more, especially this skill. If this unit has Udjat Vanguard, deal more damage. Gain aggro. Okay, also skill 2 is probably going to be 4 and 4, gaining up to 2 coin power, probably, and then gaining clash power and deal more damage. Yeah, probably it'll be 4 and 4, I would assume. This is probably going to be 5 and 4. Although, actually, yeah, if target has X plus sinking plus tremor, gain coin power. So I don't know if it's gaining 1 coin power from that, because it also has gain base power for every X LCA fracture round about to be spent by the skill. So it could just be 1 coin power gained, because this base power for every X LCA fracture round could be pretty decent. Like, this actually could be a very solid way of gaining coin power, or not coin power, like just better numbers and damage. Because like all it would need is to gain 3 total, and then it makes up for losing out on 1 coin power from the if target has X plus sinking plus tremor. Because if it gains at least 3 base power, then it's all that coin power, but at the start instead. So that basically equals it out and might even actually be stronger. And it also does more damage as well. So even if the minimum of the base power for every X LCA fracture round, even if that minimum is 2, it still has deal more damage passives to kind of make up for that as well. After attack, gain protection next turn. After attack, at X or fewer LCA fracture round, reload. So that is very, very good on any ID with ammo, because it's a lot better that they reload than run out of ammo and not be able to attack or anything. So that's good. That's a good thing to have. Spend X LCA fracture round, deal plus LCA fracture round spent times X% damage. So that sounds good. Sounds like it's doing good damage. On hit, inflict sinking count. On hit, inflict tremor count. On hit, inflict sinking. On hit, inflict blue sand next turn. Which is probably gonna be about I would guess that it's gonna be 3 total turn count, probably. Just to kind of, because that's how those effects usually are. It could be different, but I would guess it would be 3. On hit, inflict gloom resist down, which is very... It would be random, but the sinking team does have a lot of gloom attacks. And then there's also more gloom stuff, but we'll get to that in 2 seconds. Spend X LCA fracture round to deal plus LCA fracture round spends times X% damage. Again, just like the first coin. On hit, inflict sinking. On hit, trigger tremor burst, then reduce target's tremor count. That's the only tremor burst in the kit as well. And this other one. On hit, and if the target has SP, trigger tremor burst, then reduce the target's tremor count. Target has less than X SP, inflict gloom fragility. So gloom fragility and gloom resist down are both kind of good, right? Gloom fragility, gloom skills do more damage, and then gloom resist down, if something is gloom resistant, it is less gloom resistant. So it's kind of weird that they don't just have more gloom fragility. But then again, there is the I guess I feel like gloom resist down might not be as strong. It depends on the numbers, right? Because some things like defense level down or whatever, the more they stack numbers wise, the more they kind of fall off numbers wise as well. What's the word? Diminishable returns, I think. Is that the word? No. The more you have of it, the less value it gives you, I guess. So having 2 different statuses could be good. And also, it counts as 1 more negative effect, which is good because some IDs use that as a conditional. So that is simply very good. Also, how many things does this even inflict? This inflicts sinking, tremor, blue sand, gloom resist down, gloom fragility. That's 5 negative statuses with 1 skill. 1 skill inflicting 5 negative statuses. That's something. If something has a conditional of it needs 5 negative status, 5 negative statuses on something, it has that. That's good. All right. Defense skill. When hit while this unit has shield, inflict sinking against the attacker. On use, if this unit has the Udjat Vanguard, gain protection. On use, for every X protection on self, gain shield equal to Y% of this unit's max HP. And there's likely not going to be a turn where this unit does not have protection on self. except for maybe turn 1. Alright. Turn start. If an enemy has any panic type changing effects, gain the Udjat. So in other words, blue sand, right? That's a panic type changing effect. Or we'll get to that in like a second. I don't remember if shoot fracture is one as well. I'm not completely sure. We'll check though. Okay, but yeah, so that's a kind of interesting way of gaining that. I mean, what other IDs inflict panic type changing effects? I think, I don't know if Heathcliff, if Wild Hunt does one, maybe not. I mean, the main one was Wuthering Heights Outis, but now this ID is kind of, I have a feeling this one's going to be a little bit stronger. I don't think Wuthering Heights Outis is going to be like irrelevant or completely outdated, but I think this ID is just going to be strong. This unit has Udjat Vanguard, inflict shoot fracture on hit with a base attack skill. So I would assume that that means every hit, but it might be limited to some amount per skill. If LCA fracture round was spent, inflict additional shoot fracture per LCA fracture round spent. So that means it can be inflicted along with the skill 3. So that can mean it can inflict 6 negative effects with 1 skill. Protection stack gained from this unit's base skills and the Udjat Vanguard effect is capped at X per turn. Okay. So, alright. Vanguard team. Deal more damage for every X protection on self. Combat start. Gain the Udjat Vanguard. So, combat start. Gain your thing that makes every single ability stronger. That feels very strong. So it wouldn't really make sense for it to actually activate on every single turn. Same with the deal more damage for every X protection on self. I would assume that this is a passive that's going to require resonance. I would guess, like, considering that the skill is a gloom skill, I would say maybe if it's like 3 gloom resonance, because if it's 2, that would be a bit little. But yeah, I feel like 3 gloom resonance would make sense. Hopefully not absolute resonance, but I mean, it would be best if it was just like some resource owned. But because of how good this looks, I would guess that it's going to be resonance based instead of resources owned. Support passive, Eagle Eye, combat start, apply protection next turn to X allies with the lowest HP percentage. Okay, that's not super crazy, but yeah, I mean, if there's other Udjat units, then that passive could end up being a little bit better. Like if this unit like dies and goes back to the bench, then that activating would be useful, but for the most part that passive isn't going to be too insane for anything. All right, next up is the rest of Outis's kit. All right, Udjat Vanguard, gain min and max speed, so kind of similar to Heisho a little bit. What's that? Alright, so yeah, min and max speed is kind of similar to the Mao Heisho, I think. Or no, do they just gain haste? I don't know. But I mean, it kind of feels like a Heisho passive to have on herself. So gain min max speed, combat start, gain protection, gain the following effects during the combat phase. Gain the following effects during the combat phase, capped per skill per turn. When this unit is the main target of an unopposed attack skill, have the chance for the skill's first coin to flip heads. So, if you're being targeted by something, I don't think it matters if it has SP or not. It just has its chance to hit heads, which is really good because this unit has aggro. So that is something that tanks haven't done before, is having a coin's chance to flip heads just because it's targeting them. That's new, and that sounds pretty good. Like, imagine if a entire if an entire team had this passive, nothing would hit heads. Well, I mean, they could hit heads, but it's not likely. The thing is, it says when this unit is the main target of an opposed attack skill, or of an unopposed attack skill. So I don't know if that means that, or gain falling effects during the combat phase. So I don't know if that means when they first load into the combat phase, if it means that when something initially targets Outis, if that counts as an unopposed attack skill, or if it means that if Outis clashes it, then it loses its 50% chance, or having the chance to hit heads. I don't know if that's what it means. So it's kind of a little bit unclear on that part, but it has potential to be very strong. Clash start, in the first clash, have the target's chance to flip heads for all of its coins. Okay, so that makes it a little bit more clear. That makes it a little bit more clear. Yeah, that's good. That's simply good. So yeah, that's more clear, and yeah, that's good. For both effects, or for both of the above effects, and yeah, it covers negative coin skills as well. If the target uses minus coins, have their chance to flip tails instead. So it does cover both positive coins and negative coins. So that is good, very good, that it doesn't just help one or the other, especially for fights like the I'm forgetting the guy's name. The guy from Claim Their Bones, he has like all negative coin skills, or mostly. And so this would be, for example, good for that, right? Because, I mean, sinking in general isn't really great against that fight, since it's a negative coin enemy, but... Okay, Shoot Fracture. Unique sinking. For every X stack, take more damage when hit by Sloth and Gloom skills. That is good. That is very, very good. That makes this ID support every other ID's damage on its team. Probably. At max stack, gain Gloom Fragility. That's good. Take Gloom damage equal to sinking potency on self. It might be capped at 30. It might not be, though. Lose sinking count, and then expire. So, as long as it's not lose all sinking count, then it's like a mini sinking deluge, which is good. Or I guess that's more like Dark Flame Outis, not Dark Flame Outis, Dark Flame on Magic Bullet Outis, which is interesting that Outis has both of these, both of these very heavy support centered, well, not really support centered. They're good, right? They're good IDs. Then expire. If the unit with this effect dies, transfer half of its stacks to its ally or allies with the highest SP. So that's good. Turn start. If there are no LCI identities on field, expires. So don't let Outis die. Now, Blue Sand. This is the changing panic type. On clash, lose, gain sinking count. That's good. Units with SP, change their panic type to Blue Sand. Units without SP, lose min and max speed. Turn end, reduce stack. Okay, probably expected. So probably there's gonna be like 3 total, I would guess, at the start. This effect is not cumulative, and inflicting it will replace the current value with the inflicted value, which was kind of the same with Echoes of the Manor. Apply the units without SP conditional to certain enemies that have SP but can't change their panic types. Holy Sand panic effects. Low morale, lose clash power, lose min and max speed. Panic, lose clash power, lose min and max speed. LCA fracture round, unique ammo spent by certain skills. Some attacks cancel if lacking ammo. So that's pretty straightforward. It's ammo. I guess they just wanted to state that it's not the regular ammo that everyone else is using for skill 3. But yeah, that is the IDs. And they both look very good and solid. I mean, yeah, they just both look very good. Now, Outis is definitely for the sinking team because she didn't look like she cared all that much for Tremor. So she definitely looks very like sinking oriented. Faust looks like her poise is meant for her sinking. But if she has poise in the first place, she could still potentially be on the poise team, but she's also competing in that slot with, she's competing for that slot with She Faust and Blade Lineage Faust. She Faust, not many people care for, but I like that ID. Blade Lineage Faust has Blade Lineage Mersault, so that kind of helps it a lot. So this Faust, we'll see where she ends up. Also kind of interesting, she has all slash skills because Heisho Faust has all slash skills. So for a slash generalist team, Heisho Faust is probably gonna stay on there for now. As for Outis, she has slash, and pierce. So I mean, she could be on a slash team because the only other slash ID she kind of has right now is, I think, is just the Bloodfiend one. I'm pretty sure. I know Molar Boatworks has like, what does Molar Boatworks have? Like 1 slash skill 1 that doesn't really do anything, that you're supposed to discard only. So nothing like super crazy there. I mean, we can check. Hold on. Outis, is this slash? No, that's a blunt ID. Oh, this has slash. Okay, so she does have a slash ID. Is this blunt? Yeah, no, well, blunt and slash. But yeah, this ID and this, I mean, they're both mono slash, so maybe, I don't know, maybe Heisho will be fine on the slash generalist team anyway. All right, that's the wrong one. Okay, so I think that about covers everything. They're probably gonna be good on the sinking team. Well, they're going to be good on the sinking team. I mean, who else is on the sinking team right now? Let's check one last time. Sinking. Okay, so Faust can easily take that slot. Outis, I mean, this is what she's competing with, is Echoes of the Manor. But 50% chance to get 1 sinking count. So I think things with this gain a lot more sinking count, I'm pretty sure. So people might not want to give up this passive. And another thing is, the only other idea with that passive is this Faust. So both of these IDs and that passive are kind of being replaced. So I don't know if Project Moon just doesn't want this Echoes of the Manor passive to be used in every single sinking comp team ever for the rest of eternity, so maybe they're trying to push that out. I mean, it's also kind of interesting. Outis also has a similar thing here: inflict gloom affinity damage equal to sinking potency, because she has something kind of similar in her kit for the new one with shoot fracture. I'm pretty sure, like, when it gains enough, it does damage by sinking potency. So that's something. So how many people are good on here? Also, is this the same? Yeah, it's basically the same. Sin affinities. So there's like 1, 2, 3, 4 solid IDs on sinking. Maybe 5, 6, and then Outis has 7, I guess. There's not a lot of sinking IDs out there. Although, I mean, it looks like Sinclair and Marisol will probably get a sinking ID. Ryoshu, I mean, she could get one this season, but like, I think people are expecting a burn ID for her, unless she gets a burn sinking ID, which is possible that she gets a burn sinking ID actually. But yeah, and then Honglu, I guess, as well. This ID isn't really too insane for sinking. Yeah, I mean, there's this one, right? But I wouldn't really call this a sinking ID. Like, yeah, it has sinking on it, but I would not call it a sinking ID. And then this kind of supports this Dawn, but yeah. So sinking might get some new units. Well, I mean, right now it is getting new units, but it might get more new units because there's still 3 Sinners that don't really have sinking. Oh, actually, no, Marisol has... Okay, he has this ID. I forgot about this ID. I mean, I don't really count the Diechi IDs as sinking IDs anyways, because, I mean, like, look at them. Yeah, no, that's not a relevant sinking ID, is a better way to put it. So, yeah, I mean, I feel like every other team already kind of has, well, most other teams have, like, relevant IDs, but, yeah, Burn is probably gonna get some. Tremor, I guess Tremor has one there. Charge, I mean, yeah, I think sinking is the one that needs the most IDs for it right now. So it makes sense that we're getting sinking IDs because, like, it's the one that's lacking the most relevant IDs, I would say. But yeah, I think that's, I mean, yeah, I think I covered everything. All right, that's probably gonna be all for now. And yeah. All right, see ya.